It all starts with just one thing. Glass jars can be reused to store food and spices, as a holder for combs and brushes in the bathroom, or as a container for plants and homemade candles, in addition to simply being recycled. Find tips and more at onethingus.com.
I'm Amy Lawrence, and I'm up late, always after hours, hanging out with you on CBS Sports Radio. Check it out, 2 a.m. Eastern, 11 p.m. Pacific.
Enjoy sun-drenched days, epic stays, and plenty of room to roam in Greater Fort Lauderdale. Our hotels, attractions, and restaurants have taken the Visit Lauderdale's Safe and Clean pledge, so you can relax and explore with confidence. When you're ready for that well-deserved staycation, our 23 miles of golden beaches await. Find wide-open spaces to hike, bike, kayak, and paddleboard. Visit your favorite attractions, then dine out in style in socially distanced dining rooms or al fresco on waterfront patios. Learn more at sunny.org.
Saturday mornings, 8:30 Eastern. Dixie Football Nation is back and better than ever. We've got Tony Agolini, Matt Carr, Tones Areola, Bobby and Angelo, along with Mac McGee this fall. Dixie Football Nation heads to the gridiron, talking ACC, SEC, the Big Ten, and all the big games throughout the college football land. That's Dixie Football Nation, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central, Saturday mornings on the Armchair Quarterback Show's YouTube channel, going live. Or catch the instant replay.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
Is that Shakespeare?
Nope, it's Geico.
Yeah, that's Shakespeare from one of his unpublished works. Oh, it be not for awakening. Nay, giveth thou the berries. For 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
No, it's from Geico, because they help save people money.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but Geico got it from Shakespeare.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
New Year's resolutions. We've all made them. Mine is the same every year. Eat healthier. The eat part usually works out fine. It's the healthier part I forget about. But not anymore, now that I've found the oh-so-chocolatey Built Bar. Built Bars are low-cal, low-sugar, high-protein, high-fiber. Great for keto. Lose or maintain weight while indulging in a yummy treat. At 130 calories, you'll feel like making a resolution every day. Try all 18 amazing flavors. Get yours at BuiltBar.com.
Make contact. A collective psychosis is sweeping the nation. We're in the thick of the haze craze, and Elysian is introducing an altered state of IPA. Contact Haze is a tangled chemistry of mild haze, low bitterness, and an explosion of hop aroma. This hazy IPA bursts with notes of bright raspberry, currant, citrus, guava, and passion fruit. Available in 6-pack cans in stores and in all Seattle Elysian locations. Make.
Hey everybody, it's Harry Carey for the Armchair Quarterbacks. Get yourself a cold Budweiser every Saturday morning and join in the fun and watch the neighborhood play. 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Central. They talk about my Cubbies. It's Joey Areola, Christian Pledge. He's a White Sox fan, but we'll give him a pass. Hey, why do they call it White Sox? Their jerseys always look very dirty to me. Sounds like something that could be cancel culture to me. Let's look into that, Cubbies fans. It's the neighborhood play, only on the YouTube channel, Armchair Quarterback Show. Harry Carey, signing off. Seeing double, because I'm ordering triples. Go Cubbies and the Armchair Quarterbacks.
Good morning, and welcome to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Gators and Golf with Tony Agolini here on Friday as we get you warmed up for Football Friday. Tony, how the hell are you, sir?
I'm doing great, man. Happy Friday. How are you?
Well, I'd be lying if I said I'm doing well. I'm actually really under the weather, but I will march on. I got something. It's not COVID, people, before people freak out. I think it's like, some kind of sinus. I feel like it almost feels like there's a hammer on my head that has never been released. It's just wham, wham. It's been like that for 2 days. But the fact that we're a little closer to the kickoff of college football keeps me in much better spirits. Yeah, I think a lot of people don't realize there's actually games next weekend.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, none that we really give a crap about, but there are games next weekend. So that to me is exciting. What's going on in the world of the University of Florida SEC? What you got this week for us?
Honestly, pretty quiet down in Gainesville, which is a good thing. Unless there's some giant hammer that's going to drop here in the next couple of weeks, which I haven't heard anything. So, but yeah, I mean, really just kind of a quiet week. Scrimmage last Sunday. Mullen discussed that on Monday. Really, they got leaked out what they wanted to get leaked out. I guess the running game had a nice day. The defense is ahead of the offense, kind of the usual scrimmage mumbo jumbo. Richardson and Emory Jones, of course, both played at quarterback. No injuries, I guess, other than bumps and bruises. And then we talked about Jaden Hill last week. A couple of Jacksonville kids have done well. Marcus Burke, who's a true freshman out of Trinity, kind of one of the first kid we've got out of Trinity in a long time, since like Nick Washington or so, which was a while ago. And Nick was just okay, but Burke has a chance to be a really good player. And then another Jacksonville kid, Nick Elksness, who's from Episcopal here in town. He's a true freshman. He's got like 2 or 3 tight ends in front of him. I don't know how much what an impact he'll have this year, but apparently he's done well. Emory Jones was named to the Unitas list, which is great, except there's 59 other quarterbacks on that Unitas list, and about 10 of them.
Your tweet, I was like, really? There's 60 of them?
60, and I'm looking through, and like, I don't know, 41 of them I haven't heard of anyway, and like Milton's on there for Mackenzie Milton's on there too. And there's a bunch of others. So it's really just like if you're a quarterback for a P5 school, you're going to be on there.
If there's 60 on there, I would think both Miltons are on there. Mackenzie and Joe, right? I mean,
if Joe Milton's not on there yet, he'll be on there after the Bowling Green game, probably. So
I guess it's easier to mention who's not on there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, George's backup's not on there, so I guess that's one guy who didn't make it. And it's I went through the list and I'm like, wow.
Oh, in other words, they really do their homework getting ready for the preseason.
Right, exactly. So, but that's about it out of Gainesville. Not related to football. John Rothstein, who's a big college basketball follow, he's real into everything, and kind of, if a guy's transferring from an NAIA school to another NAIA school, John's all over it. But I guess the UF still hasn't cleared Keontae yet for drills or anything for basketball. Practice starts in a couple months, so we'll kind of keep our eye on that. I saw FSU came out with their non-conference schedule, which I think they got a game at Purdue. They play in Gainesville this year. I think that's like November 17th or so down in Gainesville. But that's kind of it for Gators stuff.
I guess no news is good news, because this time of year, about the only thing you really get out of these camps is if there's some terrible injury.
Right. You get some of the Miami thing that broke yesterday from something that happened 15 years ago. And then I guess some Kentucky players got in a fight with the fraternity back in spring, and they're just now pressing charges. So yeah, you're right. And like you said, no news is good news. Georgia's had a busy week news wise, because they've had some injuries here. Tyke Smith, who's a really good defensive back for them, he might be out for the Clemson game. Same thing with Darnell Washington, who's a tight end for them. And they were deep at tight end until Washington got hurt, and then word came out that Eric Gilbert has something going on. I'm not even sure if he's actually enrolled at Georgia, but if you remember, he's the one that was at LSU, used the transfer portal, came to Florida, had some issues with Florida admissions, and then ended up trying to go to Georgia. I don't necessarily know that he's cleared to get into Georgia yet either. So just some stuff to look out for Georgia Clemson here in a few weeks if Georgia's not at full strength.
Yeah, I just saw that story this morning about the Miami Hurricane player. I mean, what, he murdered someone 15 years ago, and they're just now catching him.
Yeah, I guess they just figured it out. And I'll have to send it to you. Somebody put there. I don't know if you remember. I remember when it happened, but I don't remember. They brought out this big banner that somebody brought to the stadium, and they put it in midfield, and they all gathered around it and had a moment of silence or whatever. And the guy that has been arrested and officially accused of shooting the guy was in this prayer circle with his other Miami Hurricane teammates. It's actually pretty nuts. Everybody prays different ways. He's the only one that has his eyes open. when the picture was taken. So it kind of makes it creepy, like he's staring at the picture of the guy that he
Wow.
shot a few days later. So I'll send that one to you.
Now-
but, it's crazy. That was 2006, I think.
Am I missing something? Was it a Miami Hurricane player that was shot?
Yeah, he was good too.
It was a teammate.
Yeah, Pepa, I think was his last name.
Okay, so it was a Hurricane that shot a Hurricane,
and he was good. He's like an All-American player for him. Yeah.
Okay.
Hurricane.
I kind of remember the story, but I don't really remember. It's 15 years ago.
Yeah, crazy. I wouldn't have given it a second thought until I brought it up yesterday. I hadn't thought of it in 15 years either. So
wow,
it happened like right in the middle of the season, I believe.
I mean, at least Urban Meyer's Gators in that same time period were shooting other people. They weren't shooting their own teammates.
And they waited a few years, apparently. Yeah. Well, maybe. We don't know.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
But the only other real piece of SEC news, really, Joey Gatewood, who's another local kid. He started at Auburn, or he went to Auburn, hoping to start. Somehow got beat out by Bo Nix. And Bo Nix still somehow the starting quarterback at Auburn, mostly because of his dad, I guess. Anyway, Gatewood goes to Kentucky, can't win the job there, loses it to the Levi kid, and now he's going to join Malzahn down at UCF. And he can't
see the Levi kid with the banana.
Yes, psycho.
What the hell is this guy doing? Like,
I don't know, but
I don't know if it's because he's trying to like start his own Twitter feed. There's got to be some kind of promotion behind it.
Del Monte money backing that up. Chiquita Banana.
I guess the first thing I was thinking of when I saw him, I was like, I had to do a double take because I thought it was an old video of Pat McAfee because the kid kind of looked like Pat McAfee. I was like, what did they unearth this when he was in college eating a banana raw? Because I could definitely see seeing that coming from him on a dare. Right. That was a really strange one. So
Gatewood will go to UCF. They already have Doug Gabriel. They don't really need a quarterback this year. There's kind of a rumor that he might go play tight end.
You're not starting over Nix, and you're not starting over Banana Boy. Are you starting over anybody?
Not this year. I want to say this is Gabriel's last year at UCF, so maybe he might have to sit. Like if you've transferred after July 31st, you have to petition the NCAA to get that waiver. I don't know if they're going to be that lenient on these. So I think he might have to sit. But there's a rumor he's going to go to tight end anyway, which is what he should have done probably when he went to Kentucky. But he's, I guess, hell bent on trying to play quarterback. But he can't. He can't throw.
That's what Tebow should have done 15 years ago instead of trying to wait till he was 33 years old.
See, that's what's called a segue.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that's over. They got that out of the way early, so it's not a thing.
I was pulling for him. I wanted to see him make the team. I just, I think it's a good story, and it would make it I don't think this team's going to be playoff worthy, so I'm looking for fun stuff to pull for, and I would have look. That jackass that stepped in front of him, Tavon Austin, and caught the pass that Tebow should have caught. That should have been his. That should have been a seminal moment with the Jaguars. The place would have erupted. Instead, the jackass gets in front of the ball. Tebow's only real shot at catching a ball the entire. I would have at least liked to see him play the entire preseason, and then they cut him. Let him get a catch.
Well, there's 10 teams lined up to sign him now that the Jaguars cut him so early. So, they just did him a big favor.
Yeah, well,
that was the spin I heard on one of the shows, and I thought, yeah, it's probably not happening. He'll be at SEC Network. He's probably at SEC Network today.
That has got to be a Jacksonville-based show because there's no way anyone in their right mind with any kind of credibility would think that there's 10 teams lined up to sign Tebow. I thought it would be a cool story for him to at least make a catch or two in the preseason. I knew it was realistic that he was going to be on the starting team. It would have been fun for him to be on the practice squad, to basically transition into a coach down the road. I think he's a guy who is a career athlete. He's going to try to find something else that he can do. The bobsled is just like 6 months away. So, we can get him going on that. Something
like Herschel Walker. Well, I was gonna say he broke Herschel's record, so maybe he'll want to try one of Herschel's bobsledding records. It's a shame the Lightning are so deep right now. They don't really probably have a spot, but the Icemen here in town might. But
do you think he can even skate?
Probably not.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
That'd be the one.
I don't think that would stop him, but I can't imagine a kid who grew up in.
Somebody had a funny
ice
gif
skate?
of Happy Gilmore where Gilmore gets cut and Myers the hockey coach and Gilmore's and Tebow's Gilmore, that one was pretty good too, and maybe spot on because he can't skate, and if you can't skate, can't play hockey.
You're from down here. Can you skate?
No,
I can't.
I can skate forward. That's it. You go watch these guys skate all kinds of directions. I can barely skate forward. And
I can't.
Last time I put on a pair of hockey or a pair of ice skates was probably 20 years ago, college.
Last time I put on a pair of hockey skates was never. Yeah. I've never even attempted it because it didn't even get brought up to me until I was much older. And like when you're in your mid-20s, that's not the time to start learning how to ice skate.
No,
I was never around it. People are like, man, you come out and ice skate with us. I remember exactly where I was the first time someone even mentioned it. I was in Middle Tennessee and they were getting all, jazzed up and horny about the Predators and everything. Like, oh, you got there ice skate. We can play hockey. Yeah, McGee, you should come out here with us. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good, man. That's not going to happen. Like, let me know if there's a pickup football game or baseball game, but this is not the age that I need to start trying new endeavors, especially something as violent as ice skating.
Yeah, you got your entry fee, you've got your medical deductible you have to pay when you split your head open on the ice. It's to be expensive.
Exactly. Because I remember at the time, one of the managers I worked with, I was management as well. And he goes, that's not going to be an excuse to miss work. I said, yeah, I get that. I get that. Just, he's in traction. Well, Friday night, dude, Rush is about to start. Tell him to get his ass here. As far as the Jaguars go, the only thing that concerns me is that I felt like the entire presser for Urban Meyer was him focusing on what they were doing with the special teams. And that just tells me this is a guy that plans on punting a whole hell of a lot. So I think the team, we did our Jaguars Day a few days back. And tell me what you think. But I think this team can be scrappy enough to possibly, especially when you look at the schedule. The schedule is not very daunting. To possibly get around 7 wins. Now, the over-under in Vegas is 6. But I think they're closer to 7, maybe 8 or even 9 if everything were to fall perfect. And like they play a team who's just banged with injuries and whatnot. I don't think it's all doom and gloom. I think there's going to be some excitement. But people are going to have to temper their expectations because I do think they could get off to a hot start because they're going to play Houston, which I think is probably the worst team in the National Football League in the last 5 years. And then they will come home against Denver, which is winnable because it's an early kickoff. They could get off to a 2-0 start and everyone's going to start making Urban Meyer, mayor of the city. And then they flip the hell out 6 weeks later when they have a losing record. What say you?
That's kind of the way I see the season starting, really. I mean, like you said, Houston's terrible. We don't really know what they're going to do at quarterback. Their roster's not very good. And then week 2, you hopefully get a packed TIAA field and, you beat Denver. You do start 2-0. Unfortunately for the Jaguars, that might be where it stops. I've got them. If they catch some breaks, I think I have them at 6-11. I think they're more likely to go 5-12. And to be honest, I'm okay with 5-12. You're going to get a slew of pretty good draft picks, or at least opportunities to take pretty good players next year. And this rebuild isn't just one draft. It's going to take, 2 or 3. I really just want them competing for the division in 2022 and especially 2023. I think the biggest problem for me is that offensive line. I don't think they're any good. I think there's maybe, McCann's pretty good and Linder's always hurt, but he's a good player. You can't depend on him to play 17 games. So I think to me, until the Jaguars get much better in the trenches, I think that's the biggest issue. I think the receivers are probably good enough to do well. I think Chark's a decent player. I think Marvin Shade Tree Jones is a pretty good player too. They don't have a tight end, which is fine. They didn't need to go pay a bunch of money to the guy from Philly to come play tight end this year if you're not going to win the division anyway.
Exactly.
But I don't even care about the defense this year, to be honest with you. I just want the offense to be fun to watch, put up some points. And if they're losing games, 34-24 every week, I'm fine with that. Just, don't lose games 34-6 week after week and just, beat this fan base down again. I do think the future's bright. I think Meyer hired a pretty good staff around him. He's got a lot of NFL experience guys. He didn't bring in his college buddies like Spurrier did years ago. So I think the blueprint's there, and they're investing some money. That thing we talked about a couple months ago where they're building the new practice facility and all that stuff down there, that got approved by city council, I think earlier this week or late last week. So they'll get going on that, and they'll have some other things coming as long as it gets approved. So I think the infrastructure, all that stuff's there. If Meyer's not any good and he's gone in 4 years, at least he got them to, make it more like these other NFL teams where free agents actually like the facilities and want to come here versus, oh God, I got to go to Jacksonville. Everything there sucks.
Right. And my other big question with Urban is long-term. Mm-hmm. If he can keep his head in it, I think Urban Meyer just doesn't lose, right? So I think he'll find a way. Yeah. He will surround himself with good personnel. I didn't like the fact that they traded one of their better linebackers for draft picks because we're really deep at linebacker. Well, you can't be too deep, right?
Right.
And you're talking about getting what was a fifth or sixth is a sixth round pick. So I didn't like that. But what my biggest question with Urban is, could he deal with the losing that is going to happen in the National Football League that he never had to deal with in college?
Right.
There, every step of the way he won. And you're talking about, getting one loss, 2 losses was a big deal to him in a season. Now we're going to be talking about he's probably going to lose more than he'll win for the first year or two. That's what I wonder is if we're going to have another fake heart attack.
Well, and all I really want out of him, honestly, is like, give me like 6 years. And after the first 2 years, just give me like, 4 really good seasons. He doesn't have to be Tom Landry and be a career guy here. Just give me like 6 years, 4 of them really good. And if the first 2 stink, stick with it and go.
I think they could be definitely playoff contender, division contender for sure by 2023. I think they could sniff it in 22.
Yeah.
Because here's the other ugly thing that you have to look at. When you look around the division, I don't know what the hell they're going to do in Houston, but Deshaun Watson won't be involved.
Right.
The Titans, I mean, Tannehill's not getting younger, right? So I figured the Titans have a window of about 2 years, and after that, they're going to have to start looking elsewhere at quarterback. And I'm not convinced by any stretch of the imagination that Carson Wentz is an answer.
No.
So 3 years from now, they could definitely have, without a doubt, head and shoulders the best quarterback in the division. And this is a quarterback league.
Yeah, and you've got other quarterbacks that are, going to step aside at some point. I mean, Roethlisberger has to retire at some point, and obviously Brady's
right. But I'm just talking about winning the division. The division is going to be winnable in 2 years.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I'm with you there. I think I definitely think that's the case. That's why I keep saying, just get me through this season. 2022, if you're a wild card team, that's fine. Just get to the playoffs, and then 2023, it's time to really like hit the gas on it. And age wise, hopefully this roster, if they hit on these draft picks and some of these reaches that they've taken, that's when that'll be year 3 for ETN, year 4 for James Robinson. If he's, still, I don't necessarily know that he's the future, but as far as what his next deal is going to look like.
He's getting a bum deal, isn't he? He had such a phenomenal year, and now they're talking like he's going to be an afterthought. And I've got to see that to believe it. I think ETN's going to be more of a Percy Harvin. He's going to be a guy,
like hybrid kind of guy.
Yeah. Now I could see him doing a lot of that stuff with Chenault as well. But I don't see an ETN as an everyday guy, and everyone just assumes that ETN's going to get like 25 touches and James Robinson's going to sit the sideline. I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Robinson's still going to get 15 to 20 carries, and ETN, they're going to try to get the ball in his hand in the best spots about 5, maybe 10 times a game.
Yeah, a lot of swing passes, screens, get him out in the flat. And if you have a mediocre offensive line, I want to say bad. They're not bad, but they're not good, like mediocre. So if you have that kind of offensive line, get the ball out of the quarterback's hands, get it out on the perimeter. And that's kind of the basis of Urban Meyer's offense anyway, is to, get the ball out in space and let your playmakers make plays. The only issue is everybody in the NFL is fast. It's not, you don't get to play Kent State and Toledo, like you do at a conference at Ohio State or, FAU like you do Florida. So you don't really have those games, but you do have to you have to scheme around that bad offensive line. The other question mark I have is I want to see what happens with this offense, because as much as I like Brian Schottenheimer, he was Werfel's backup at Florida. He's had a great career as an assistant coach, but I haven't been a big fan of his at the pro level. He was a disaster at Georgia. So does Meyer have enough influence to get Schottenheimer to do what's needed to kind of get out of that NFL mindset and really scheme around, this offensive line and use the quickness and the skill players that this group has, at least on offense? Like I said, I don't care whether the defense is terrible or whether they're good this year or not. It really doesn't matter to me.
I think they'll be better.
Just get that offense in the 20s and even the low 30s most games, and everybody's going to be happy.
I think what most Jaguar fans are just looking for is an excitement and a fighting chance. Just tired of watching years of Bortles, and then other than like 6 games, watching the disaster that was Minshew. Right. We got to get up on out of here. What's going on in golf before we run out of here?
Yeah, golf real quick. They're at Liberty National this week 1 of the FedEx playoffs. There's only this week and next week, and then the finals up at East Lake. So nothing real special about Liberty National. The coolest thing is the sight lines. It's right across the harbor from downtown New York City, so you get some pretty cool views from there. That's a course I wouldn't mind playing one day just for the view. Leaderboard, John Rahm, Justin Thomas both shot real low yesterday. I think you'll see a big name win this tournament. And it's, each tournament, the FedEx field gets reduced a little bit. So some of the guys that barely made it, they'll probably fade out this week. Looking at the leaderboard earlier, I think the cut's probably going to be even par or +1. So if you're not shooting par or less, you're not going to make the cut this week. So there should be some good drama on Sunday. And then next week they'll play Caves Valley up in Maryland, and then Atlanta. So that's winding down. We'll have the Ryder Cup at the end of September, but this is really the last couple of weeks where golf matters before they start the swing around season that they call it, where everybody cares about football anyway. So it really doesn't.
Now, programming note, we won't be here September 3rd. I think, September 3rd. So we're going to do our college football predictions here next Friday. So
all right.
We will see you then, sir.
4-hour show. I like it. All right, man. Hope you feel better.
Yeah. If I do, I'm going to be there tomorrow. If I don't, I don't want to put anyone in harm's way. So
we appreciate that.
I don't think I have it, but I'm not going to put people in jail.
All right. I'll bring a hazmat suit.
All right.
See you, bud.
Yes, sir. Stay tuned as we are going to go into the sorry, my brain's not working. Wake Up Y'all is next. Keep it locked in here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. We will start a new feed in just a second.